Welcome to another episode of Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Retirement Podcast, where certified financial planner Loren Sherman shares thoughts on having a healthy mind, body, and spirit, an abundance of wealth inside portfolios and out, and lessons learned from clients and mentors over the years.
Hello, everyone. As always, I am your host, Loren Sherman. Today, we're covering 7 questions you must ask before turning 65. We kick off this episode reviewing one of the most popular birthdays in your life. No, we're not talking about your 21st, but instead your 65th birthday. Anyone over the age of 65 knows what we are referring to, but for those who are not there yet, we're talking about your transition onto Medicare and how people come out of the woodwork excited to talk to you about Medicare insurance and prescription drug plans. Because we deal with this topic on pretty much a daily basis with our clients, I wanted to provide a cheat sheet of questions to ask your agent. We created this for people nearing their 65th birthday, but it's also helpful for retirees already on Medicare. Let's look at 7 questions to consider. First question, is the agent independent, or instead do they represent just one or possibly a few companies? Most of the Medicare solicitations you'll receive in the mail are advertisements for one company or another. The obvious downside to this is that you will get a sales pitch only hearing the good, but none of the bad. You want someone who can represent all or at least most companies. Your second question to ask, is the agent local and is this important to me? Living in the virtual world we're in today, business can be done from about anywhere. Often, people enjoy being able to complete their Medicare transition from start to finish, all in the comfort of their own home. So if this is you, it's important to ask agents if this is an option they offer. On the other side of the coin, many still prefer a handshake and a face-to-face conversation. This doesn't have to be one or the other, as some agents offer both options. Your third question, does the agent have a process for offering ongoing assistance over the years? One of the biggest mistakes we see is that people put a lot of effort into their initial transition onto Medicare, but their agent doesn't have a process for ongoing reviews, so they get left behind without ongoing assistance. This can be a challenging one because if asked, I imagine every agent would say they offer reviews each year. A better way to find out if this is accurate may be to ask their clients, if possible, or to ask specific questions about their follow-up process. If the agent's answers are vague or too general, they may not have much of a process. If they have only been in the business for a handful of years, this is more likely to be an issue as well. I hate to say it, but most insurance agents starting out are just trying to keep their head above water, and they don't have much time for service since they're always needing that next sale to stay in business. On the other side of the coin, if they can specifically talk about technology they use, perhaps a team or an assistant who helps them out, and so on, then you're probably on the right track. Our fourth question to consider, does the agent have a fiduciary responsibility? This is where it falls apart for many agents, and if you've followed past episodes or articles I've written, you probably noticed that we often discuss the importance of working with a fiduciary. To quickly recap, being a fiduciary essentially means not only being morally and ethically obligated to act in your best interest, but legally required to as well. This seems like it should be the obvious default, but an incredibly low percentage of agents offering Medicare advice are actually held to a fiduciary standard. We address this problem in more detail on our website, so I've included a link in the show notes if you'd like to learn more. Moving on to our fifth question. Does the agent integrate my Medicare options with my income plan and have a good understanding of Medicare income rules? If you ask this question, you will likely get a lot of blank stares or dead air on the other end of the phone. This is because most agents who help with Medicare do not have a financial background, so this part doesn't get discussed a whole lot. In short, it is important to integrate your Medicare planning with your income planning so you don't inadvertently push yourself into the next bracket when it's avoidable. This is different than tax planning since taxes are progressive and being $1 into the next bracket has essentially no impact. Going $1 over Medicare's brackets, which are different than your standard tax brackets, what this does is it triggers an all or nothing scenario for your Medicare Part B and D. I've provided a link in the show notes to Medicare's website if you want to check out the chart for yourself. While it is possible to calculate this manually each year, any agent who makes this part of their process almost certainly leverages technology to do so. Missing this one small but important step is a bit like trying to make bread and forgetting to add yeast. One ingredient can have a big impact. So we've covered the first 5 questions to ask. Now let's wrap up with the final 2. Our 6th question: is the agent also an advisor offering additional services? You will typically get much better answers to the previous questions if your Medicare agent is also a financial advisor. They're more likely to be a fiduciary and more likely to understand income integration with access to planning software and technology. You may already have a financial advisor that you're happy with, and that's okay, but it doesn't hurt to go through your Medicare transition with someone who understands this and can offer a second set of eyes on your retirement plan if you ever needed it. An advisor should be able to assist with Social Security decisions, required minimum distributions, tax planning, and much more. Frequently, these overlap with your Medicare choices, as moving one lever often moves another. On to our 7th and final question. Do we have shared beliefs, and do we get along? This is listed last, but it could be the most important. Ideally, you will have a long relationship with your Medicare agent that will last throughout the rest of your life. Of course, you can change agents, so this doesn't have to be etched in stone, but it's important to work with someone you get along with, who will grow with you and who will continue to learn as things change. That's all we have for today. We will be back in 2 weeks to chat more. Until then, check out the show notes for any links or resources that we discussed on the show. Or if you'd like to meet our team and learn more, head on over to healthywealthywiseretirement.com.
Thank you so much for listening and supporting this podcast. If you've enjoyed listening, we would love if you took a quick moment to leave an honest review. Of course, we're shooting for 5 stars, but if you have suggestions to improve the show, we would love to hear from you too. Just click on the podcast name, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Retirement Podcast, and scroll down to ratings and review. Thanks again for your support, as this helps us reach a wider audience and help even more retirees just like you. This podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and is not intended as a specific tax, legal, or investment advice. Loren Sherman is a certified financial planner and co-owner of Integrity Wealth Management, an investment advisor serving retirees in search of their own healthy, wealthy, and wise retirement lifestyle.